Where's Williams now? Mr. Williams is on the banks of the Mississippi, the mighty Mississippi River in St. Paul. If we pan the camera back, you can actually see Fort Snelling. So there's Fort Snelling. I don't know if any of you have ever done school field trips. I used to do them back in the day. I think 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, we'd go to the fort. They'd reenact the soldiers and people working in the stores. And I always used to buy this spruce wax gum. Not sure why I bought it, because it was like chewing wax that tasted like a pine tree, and then we'd all spit it out. It was truly wax gum. But anyways, getting back to the Mississippi, so pretty cool we have this resource in Minnesota. Some of you told me last week that your visits to a state park, that you went to Lake Itasca State Park, which is where the headwaters of the Mississippi begin. And if you go up there, so Itasca State Park is about 30 minutes from Bemidji, if you know kind of the geography of Minnesota. So it's about 3.5 hours north of here. But anyways, that's where the Mississippi starts, and you can actually walk across it. It's only about 20 to 30 feet across the headwaters there. Water's generally super, super shallow. But then it goes all the way down to the Gulf of Mexico. So if you look at the mileage of it, it's like 2,350 miles. That's the length of the Mississippi. Second longest river in North America. So obviously starts in Minnesota, up at Lake Itasca, goes to the Gulf of Mexico. Basically goes, it funnels through Minnesota and Louisiana and all other 8 states. It pretty much just runs along the border. But in all, it either borders or goes through 10 different states. So if we pan over here, you can see some guys fishing. You can actually see some dogs running around. They were actually going out in the river, maybe chasing some sticks. But if you look where those people are, where the boat is, that's actually the Minnesota River. And then over here, if you pan over, you've got the Mississippi. So they call that a confluence, and that's where 2 rivers meet together. So the Minnesota and the Mississippi meet, and then they float. Obviously, it continues on for the Mississippi River. So Fort Snelling State Park, by the way, is the most popular. We've got a boat over here fishing. I'm assuming that they're fishing for walleyes. Different fishing regulations on the river. But getting back to Fort Snelling State Park, the #1 attended state park, obviously in a metropolitan area. Gooseberry Falls is #2. But again, Fort Snelling State Park, wonderful place. Little history about Fort Snelling real quick. Dates back to about 1820, and from what I understand, the fort monitored river exploration. Like, they checked why people were coming down the Mississippi. It probably had to do with they didn't want them coming into this territory and maybe settling in on land. 3 minutes. That's perfect. Well, we've got some waves too. So again, as we pan across, we've got the mighty Mississippi River coming down past the University of Minnesota, funnels down to the Gulf of Mexico, and starts up at Lake Itasca State Park. This is Mr. Williams. I'm out.